When conducting workplace investigations, one of the most important concepts investigators must understand is that human memory is not a video recording of events. Many people assume that a truthful witness should be able to provide a complete, detailed, and perfectly chronological account of what happened. However, scientific research tells us that memory does not work this way. Memory is a dynamic process. It is constantly reconstructed, influenced by emotions, stress, time, and new information. This understanding is critical because one of the most common investigative mistakes is falling into the credibility trap, assuming that a person who cannot remember certain details, provides an imperfect timeline, or has some inconsistencies must be dishonest. In reality, memory gaps and inaccuracies can occur even when a person is making a genuine effort to tell the truth. Human recall is naturally imperfect. People can forget details, misinterpret what they observed, or develop memories that feel completely accurate, but are actually mistaken. This creates what investigators sometimes call the truthfully incorrect witness, a person who sincerely believes their version of events, but whose memory does not perfectly match what actually occurred. This is especially important when evaluating eyewitness testimony. A vivid memory does not necessarily mean a reliable memory. People often place significant confidence in detailed recollections because they feel real and clear. However, research has shown that confidence and accuracy do not always go together. Traumatic experiences add another layer of complexity because trauma can change how memories are formed and retrieved. During a highly stressful or traumatic event, the brain prioritizes survival responses. The hippocampus, which helps organize events into a chronological sequence, may not function normally under extreme stress. At the same time, the amygdala, which processes emotions and sensory information, may become highly active. As a result, trauma-related memories are often not stored as a complete timeline. Instead, a person may remember individual details such as a sound, a smell, a physical sensation, or a particular image with great clarity, while struggling to explain exactly what happened first, second, or third. For investigators, this means that a fragmented account is not automatically an unreliable account. In some situations, the way a person recalls information may actually be consistent with how the human brain responds to trauma. Another important consideration is the timing of interviews. After an event occurs, memories initially exist in a fragile state before they become more stable through a process called memory consolidation. Research suggests that sleep plays an important role in this process. Allowing sufficient time for memory consolidation can help stabilize recollections. However, delaying an interview for too long creates another risk: the memory may fade, or new information may unintentionally influence the original recollection. Therefore, investigators must balance two competing considerations: interviewing too early, when memories may still be unstable, and interviewing too late, when important details may be lost. Understanding how memory works also changes how investigators should ask questions. Traditional questioning often focuses heavily on chronology. What happened first? What happened next? However, this approach may not always match how human memory is stored and retrieved. Effective investigators use techniques that encourage deeper recall. They may ask witnesses to describe the environment, sounds, smells, emotions, or other sensory details. They may also revisit important topics later in the interview because memories often return in stages or waves. A detail that is unavailable at the beginning of an interview may become accessible later as the witness feels safer and the context is reconstructed. Cognitive interviewing techniques can also help by asking witnesses to mentally return to the situation and describe what they remember from different perspectives. Similarly, documents, emails, photographs, or other evidence can be used appropriately to refresh a witness's memory. However, investigators must be careful that evidence is used to refresh memory rather than to influence or create a new version of events. Ultimately, credibility assessments should not be based on whether a witness remembers every detail perfectly. Perfect memory is not the standard. The more important questions are: is the account reasonable? Is it internally consistent? Does it align with other evidence? Is it consistent with what would be expected given the circumstances, environment, and the person's emotional state? A witness may forget minor details while still providing a reliable account of the important facts. Conversely, a person may provide a confident and detailed story that does not withstand comparison with objective evidence. As investigators, our role is not to judge whether someone has a perfect memory. Our role is to understand the science of memory, recognize its limitations, and evaluate testimony fairly by considering the complete body of evidence.